Okay guys, I'm back. Welcome to video number 2. So we're going to pick up right where we left off in the last one. This is the same form, but I really want to focus on this bottom section here. If you can read that. Out-of-state registration, temporary permit, TNR stands for title and registration, OOSPUR stands for out-of-state purchase, DRS stands for dealer's report of sale, and renewal is obviously a renewal, which I showed you an example of renewal earlier. This is just a simple renewal notice that lots of people get, thousands of people get them a day. So let's talk about each individual transaction. I'm not going to get really in depth because your trainer really needs to go over each of those with you in a transaction format, meaning a live transaction in their hand from a customer. Hey, this is why this is this way, so forth and so on. But there's only a few things we need to establish on each transaction. I'm just going to go over them quickly with you right now so you have a little bit of background before you start going through this with your trainer, whoever that might wind up being. So first we will start off with this one. What is this one? We're going to start off with out-of-state registration. It says there Reg, PL, which is registrations, plates, NV, NINS, which is Nevada Insurance, SMOG, which is SMOG, application for registration, and VIN check. Now, there's a couple of things you got to understand. If a vehicle has been registered in another state to the same person that's trying to register here, it's considered an out-of-state registration. A couple of things have to happen every single time, no matter what. They have to have their most current registration from their home state. If they don't have it, that's okay. We can order a copy of it through the DMV, and it turns it into what's called a two-trip deal. You'll learn more about that later. So there's really nothing we can't do, but there are certain rules and guidelines that we have to follow, and that's just the way it is. We can't bend the rules because we're a DMV service. Whatever the DMV expects us to do, we still have to do exactly what they want. We just do it a whole lot faster and friendlier and more fun than the customer could possibly do it themselves. So they've got to have the most current registration from their home state. The plates, that's kind of an iffy thing. Yes, the DMV does require return the plates. However, in most cases, because of our great relationships with the DMV, we can turn the plates in after the fact. Meaning if the person still has current plates, they don't want to drive away from our location or our office, not having any plates in their car at all, that's no problem. In most cases, we can take the front plate off or no plate at all, explain to our technician, hey, this is one of our customers that has still got current plates. I'll bring them back this afternoon when I come back from my other appointment, and it's never, ever, ever a problem, so don't worry about that. But we make sure we always get them after the fact. Nevada proof of insurance. This is another sticky point. Many people think because their insurance person in California or Florida or wherever told them, oh no, your insurance is good anywhere in the United States. And that's true to drive with. But to register a vehicle in Nevada, you have to have Nevada proof of insurance. If you have one of the major companies like Geico or Progressive or one of the big ones, no big deal. Just call them and say, I'm in Nevada now. I need a Nevada policy. You can fax or email us the information very quickly. It's not a big deal. It's very simple, but that is required. Next on the list, application for registration. This is required for all registrations. This is the second form we're going to talk about. This form is very, very simple. The top of the form, you see all these boxes, it says VIN number, vehicle identification number. That's where we write the VIN number. Occasionally a customer will come with one of these already filled out, and that's wonderful, but it's pretty rare. But I like to fill these out for the customer so that they're not spending extra time with us that they don't need to. We want them in and out quickly, enjoying their life, and appreciating the value of our service. And then of course down below here, it shows the year, make, and model. So if it's a 2010 Nissan Altima, you write that in there. This stuff here with weight and length and all this stuff, don't worry about that stuff. That's for trailers. Basically, this is a sworn statement that the customer is making that they promise they're going to keep insurance on the car the whole time. Does everybody keep that promise? Of course not. Thousands of people that don't keep that promise and wind up with big sticky fines from the DMV, and that's something else that's a different conversation. So really all we need from a customer on this sheet is we need them to sign right down here where this big arrow is. It says signature, and then we will have enough information based on having their insurance card, their old registration, possibly a copy of their driver's license. Because we've gotten all this other information, we can fill this form out for them. We just need an original signature right down here. So what I like to do when I'm selling a job is I go through this form with the customer first. Then I tell them, just sign down here. I've got all the other information. I'll fill it in when you're not sitting here waiting on me. That makes it much, much easier for the customer. Now, of course, we went over registration, plates, Nevada insurance. We didn't go over smog inspection. Let's go over some quick smog rules. And this applies to all registrations. Smogs are not required for trailers. I know that might sound silly to some of you watching this video, but believe it or not, I've had employees and customers ask me, hey, where do I get a good smog for my trailer? Well, you don't. There's no engine in a trailer, so there's nothing to smog. But smog testing is required when a vehicle meets one of two criteria. Either A, it's 2 years old, or B, it's on its third registration. So it might be a 2012, or it could even be a 2013 going on its third registration already. Actually, no. 2013 couldn't be. 2012 could be going on its third registration right now. My 2013 is going on its second registration right now because I bought it, I think, in October of 2012. So October of 2013, it's already got its second registration. So next year, I got to smog my car. We have hookups for smogs. In fact, we'll be building our own smog shop very soon. So I'm not sure when you're going to be watching this video. We may already have our own smog shop by the time you see this. I'm not going to get too deep into that. But that's the basic criteria. If someone says, well, my car is a diesel that it doesn't need a smog. If it's a diesel that weighs less than 14,000 pounds, absolutely it needs smog. By the time you see this video, we have our own smog shop. I'm certain we will not be doing diesel smogs. Talk to your trainer about where we recommend people go get smogs for diesels. It's a little bit more expensive. Okay, and then let's talk about finally what's called a VIN inspection. I'm not going to show you one. You really don't need it. It looks a whole lot like this form right here. That's a form that can be gotten one of two ways. Either A, you can get any police officer, law enforcement officer in America to fill it out for you. It's got to be the Nevada form. You get it from our website. It's very simple. Or number two, you can do a drive-through at the DMV, and literally takes a few seconds. They take a scanner. They just scan your VIN number. It prints out a sheet of paper with your VIN number, your mileage. One of the technicians signs it and says, yes, this is the actual VIN number of your car, and that's it. Don't tell people, you know, they're trying to find stolen cars this way or any of that stuff. That's not the purpose of them. It's just to confirm that the vehicle identification number you have on all your other paperwork actually matches what's on the car, not necessarily from a, hey, we're looking for fraud perspective, but from a, let's just make sure it's correct perspective, okay? Now, they do find mistakes, obviously, but most of them are unintentional mistakes, okay? So that covers out-of-state registration. Let's go ahead and cover temporary permit real quick. It's right here in the middle. Temporary permit, right there, temp, boom. So to get a temporary moving permit, what is a temporary moving permit? Well, it's somebody who either has expired plates or no plates at all, and they need to move the car legally. Now, most people wing it. They just kind of drive it around and don't worry about the law and stuff like that. But others do want to do the right thing, and that's a good thing to do. So these people get temporary moving permits. And a temporary moving permit can last anywhere from a day to I've seen them go as long as 90 days. The circumstances vary. Get with your trainer about that because there's a lot of variables that could change by the time I make this video anyway. But you've got to establish that you're the owner of the car. That's one of the requirements. You've got to have insurance on the vehicle. It does not have to be Nevada insurance, but the vehicle does have to be insured. But the weird thing is, we don't have to prove it, which is really odd and funny. So that's kind of a thing that has lots of twists and turns to it. So whoever your trainer is, talk to them about the specifics of temporary moving permits because, like I said, the rules change frequently at the DMV. You never know what they may or may not be enforcing to get permits that day. Let's see, do we have time to go over one more transaction before the clock runs out? I don't want to do that. Let's just go ahead and stop it here. Go to the next video, and we're going to talk about the other types of transactions. Then we're going to get into a little bit more detail about these other forms. All right? So Congratulations for making it this far. Don't skip this stuff because I promise you, you will be tested. If you don't do well, I'm going to cut you and find somebody who will.